This is for coaching observations. And so when you are doing a coaching observation, there's a couple things that you want to focus on. And I have gathered resources from Knight and Diane Sweeney for these kind of template of what you might use during a coaching observation to really give some really good feedback to teachers. So right here where it says time on task, this form has been created by Luis and Tara Ruckman. And they were able to kind of create like a Google form where it would track students' time on task. And so what you would do is, what I like about Sweeney's model is she focuses on one student, whereas Jim Knight focuses on the whole class. So again, I kind of like just taking a small group of students and really focusing on like 4 of them is what kind of Sweeney suggests, where compared to Knight. So you're really just looking at 4 students. And right here is what you could do is you're able to go in and every time there's a minute, you would fill it out. Are they on task, off task? Are they passive off task? Is there teacher support? And then it can tally up that way. Another way you might do this, and this is new to me, I actually had a thread in Twitter, is a heat map. And so if you look in the speaker notes down here, Darren White, he uses this to give feedback, and I just loved it. So you would put the seating chart on your Google slide or your Jamboard or whatever you're using, or you could print it out and highlight. And what you would do is you would just duplicate these little circles, move them to like the desk, and then you can kind of quickly see who is answering questions, if there's a side of the room, if there's like a certain student that they're doing. You could also go over here and you can see like what support was needed, who has different questions, and you could even create like different topics here as well. So based on what you were kind of observing or whatever the teacher needed. And then I was reading the book, The Classroom Behavior Manual. And what he does is he was talking about a seating chart. And so you can see these little numbers here, 4E, 3A, 2D. And what that means is there's numbers 1 through 5. So 1 is like your easy student. They are always doing whatever you kind of say to do. They're very motivated maybe by themselves, where that number 5 student is like your toughest behavior student. And so then you would rank your students from 1 through 5, and then you place them in a seating chart. So again, you can kind of see here that behavior-wise, maybe you find a pattern based on that conversation with the teacher before the observation. And then where it has A through E, that is their academics. So A, they are like a A student, they get everything done. Where E, they might really, really struggle. So you can see here, this is a 5C. So their behavior is pretty bad, but they're about average. Where here it's 5E, so their behavior is really bad and they are not performing academic as well. And so that might be also really helpful information that you could kind of sit down with the teacher and then label the students that way. And then as you kind of see, there's certain patterns where the teacher is always calling on or always getting answers from those high students, or is the support being requested by maybe that middle ground student? And you can kind of do that as well, is what I was thinking. So back to the observation after you kind of get that time on task. So again, you could decide if you want to do this whole group or if you really want to just focus on a certain amount of students, or maybe you want to use that heat map. Again, I love that idea from Darren. And so then these, again, could be changed for whatever your district focus is, but expectations, are they clearly posted and stated? Are the questions open-ended? Are they closed? How many DOK level type questions is the teacher asking? And you could just quickly tally. Again, you could print this out and you could write on it, or you could do it right in the Google slide. And then activity, how long is the teacher working on these different activities? And then you could write, if they did it, you would just put a check mark here. And then you could put, hey, they did a beginning routine and that took 15 minutes, or maybe we can try to cut that down to 7, or whatever you might need to do. But that could be really helpful for the teacher. And again, you can change these activities. These were just some activities suggested by Jim Knight. But if you had a different one, or maybe you have a instructional playbook and you want to add some of those other instructional strategies to here, you totally could. And then right here, this is on planning, assessment, and learning. So are the learning targets stated? Are they clearly described, like the success criteria? And is the teacher maybe getting data from whether or not her students are learning? and is she modifying her learning? And again, you can kind of decide what you need as a district before you kind of use this for your own or customize it for that teacher. But again, just some really great coaching observation ideas for you to use in your classroom.